Priyanka Sambhav. You're watching Money 9. Have you been a die-hard fan of bank fixed deposit? Aren't we all? Actually, why we love bank fixed deposit? Because they promise guaranteed return. But recently, we've also seen how the bank FD's interest rates have been falling, and this has been worrying for lots of us. So another fixed income instrument, debt fund, has been, in the headlines, and we thought that in Save Nahi Invest Kar, we should understand and simplify debt funds, understand the risk side of it, and also understand who should invest, what should be your time horizon. What we know till now, the debt mutual funds are those funds which invest in government bond, treasury bills. But how do they actually work? And to understand this, I have with me SRE Wealth's co-founder and CEO Keerthan Shah. And Keerthan is really popular because, with his Twitter thread, he has been sort of de-jargonizing a lot of these terms for us. Hi, Keerthan. Thank you for taking out time for us. So today, you're not on Twitter, but you're with us on Money 9. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to understand with you, what are debt funds? How do they work? Where do they invest? How do you see debt funds?
Priyanka, thank you so much for having me on the show. I think debt funds is a very simple product. What ideally happens is when, as an investor, you invest 100 rupees in any scheme of the debt mutual fund. What the debt mutual fund does is further invests that 100 rupees into multiple bonds in the market, right? What's a bond? You can assume bond to be similar like an FD. So like an FD gives you an interest rate periodically. Similarly, these bonds also give you interest rates periodically. The only difference between a bond and a fixed deposit is that fixed deposit is not tradable, but a bond trades in the secondary market. So long story short, when you invest 100 rupees in a scheme, they further invest that into multiple bonds in the market and then try and generate returns by the way of coupons, which is the interest that they receive periodically, and with various ways by which they will generate capital gains.
So if there is a capital gain, I'm sure there would be a tax liability as well with debt funds.
Correct. So Priyanka, what you have to understand is if I have to compare it with a fixed deposit so that we understand the basic thought process, in a fixed deposit, while you invest at 6% and you are in the 30% tax bracket, you make 4.2%, right? But similarly, if you invest in a debt fund and the debt fund generates 6%, right? And if you've stayed invested for more than 3 years, you get an advantage called indexation. What is indexation? Let's say if the fund generates 6%, in the same 3 year time horizon, your inflation has increased by 4% in the market, then you actually get taxed only on the remaining 2%, 6 minus 4. Now, on that 2%, you only pay 20% tax, even if you are in the 30% tax bracket. So you pay zero point 0.4 as tax. So you make 6% on a debt mutual fund, you pay zero point 0.4, and what you get in hand is 5.6 versus a 4.2 in a fixed deposit. That's a huge advantage of investing in a debt mutual fund.
Okay, so who should invest in a debt fund, and what is the way? Can we do SIP investment, monthly small fragmented investment, or it has to be a lump sum investment?
So Priyanka, I think debt mutual funds are for everybody because there are products where you can do as small as weekend parking just for Saturday, Sunday. And then there are products which allow you to invest for as long as 10, 15, 20 years. So in my opinion, these funds are for everybody because there are 16 different categories and there is a category for every kind of an investor in my opinion. And you can actually invest in debt mutual funds using both the routes. You can ideally invest through a lump sum like you do in a fixed deposit, or you can also invest through an SIP, which is now a very popular investment technique for doing equity mutual funds. You can do it in debt funds as well.
And what should be the allocation? How much of your investment should be dedicated towards mutual fund? How much do you suggest to your clients that you should have this percentage of debt funds is good in a portfolio?
So Priyanka, very broadly speaking, I think if the client is conservative, then 80% of the portfolio should be invested in debt. If the client is moderate, you should have 50% of your allocation to debt. And even if the client is aggressive, you still have 20% of your allocation to debt. That is something that we broadly follow at our end.
Ketan, there are two things which I want to clarify, which has been in the news, that government is going to be, borrowing more money from previous years, as we've seen very aggressive physical deficit targets, 12 lakh crores of borrowing by government. And then news comes that RBI today has bought bonds worth 20,000 crore. Now, these two news will have an impact on the debt market and also on the returns of the debt funds. How do you interpret these two news for debt funds?
So Priyanka, both of these news ideally balance out what is happening in the market. So what happens is when the government comes out and says that I want to borrow 12 lakh crore, when the government borrows 12 lakh crore, for that the government is selling bonds in the market. Now imagine just logically if you come out to the market and sell 12 lakh crore worth of bonds, you will have to sell them at a discount. Anything that you sell in such a huge quantity will have to be sold at a discount in the market. And which is why when the government said that I'm going to borrow 12 lakh crore, which means I'm going to sell 12 lakh crore worth of bonds to y'all, the debt market fell. Now, because the debt market fell and the RBI does not want to really create a panic in the debt market, RBI came out to neglect this effect. So what RBI did today was announce that I'm going to buy 20,000 crore worth of bonds from the market. So initially government said I will sell, debt market went down. RBI said I am buying, debt market recovered, and hence the effect on the debt funds have closely been negated by both of these things together.
What is the risk of a debt fund? I'm sure, they're completely not 100% risk free, right? There would be some risk. What should be the investor prepared for?
So Priyanka, very quickly, you should look at two risks while you are investing in a debt fund. First risk is credit risk, which means that while you invest in a debt fund, always pay attention to something called as credit rating. Each of these bonds will be given a credit rating, and AAA, A1 plus, and sovereign are considered to be the best credit rated papers. Anything below that means that you are increasing your risk. A double A, triple B, so on and so forth. The lower you go, the more risk you are taking. That's point number one. Point number two that we have to understand is that when interest rates move up, Priyanka, you will always see debt funds giving lower returns. It's because debt funds would have invested in bonds with lower interest rates, and if interest rates in the market go up, funds will still receive that lower interest rates, and hence the value of these funds drop in the market. So these are the two funds that I believe investors should keep an eye on.
Okay, and now tell me something, when we are comparing bank fixed deposit to a debt fund, now with bank deposits, I feel there is zero risk, The only risk is that my interest may fall and I could be stuck in my old rate, when I started my fixed deposit. So if I'm a conservative investor and I don't want to take risk, do you think bank FDs are much safer than a debt fund?
Priyanka, look, theoretically, if you're not guided by somebody who understands finances, your comment is correct. But if I have to look at it from my perspective, where I would like to believe that there are a lot of risks that we really don't talk about, even in a fixed deposit. Like, say, for example, I've seen most investors before they come and approach us, they have a very concentrated portfolio in debt. Most of their money is invested in 2 or 3 fixed deposits across. Now, imagine if one of these fixed deposits default, like you've seen Yes Bank perpetual bonds default or Lakshmi Vilas Bank Tier 2 bonds default, you will see a large portion of your portfolio ending up defaulting. That's risk number one, in my opinion. Risk number two is tax inefficiency. So, like I explained to you today, if you say an SBI fixed deposit is paying you 5% and you are in the 30% tax bracket, what ideally you get in hand is 3.5%, which is half of what the inflation right now is in the market. Then the third risk that I see is illiquidity risk. I might have invested today in a bank fixed deposit for 3 years, but let's say at the end of the first year for some medical emergency I want to withdraw money, but the bank fixed deposit allows me to withdraw it only with a penalty on my withdrawal. So the product is illiquid. And like you rightly said, the fourth and the most important one is if you lock yourself up at a lower interest rate right now, then with rising interest rates in the market, you are still locked at the lower interest rate, and fixed deposits don't have a solution to that. So there are a lot of risks in a fixed deposit, which I believe that retail investors don't pay heed to, because for you and me, risk is only losing of capital.
Yeah, so to wrap up our conversation, Kirtan, what I understand that debt fund are for more dynamic kind of investors who can take risk, and you think to diversify your portfolio, debt fund is a good option, Kirtan?
Absolutely. So even if we have a conservative investor at our end, like we said, 80% of the money should be invested in debt. Most of that is invested in debt mutual funds only. So we believe that debt mutual funds are a far superior option over corporate or bank deposits.
Thank you so much, Kirtan. So here, Kirtan Shah explaining to us what are the benefits of a debt fund and how do they work, how do they earn interest for you. Thank you so much. That was Kirtan Shah. Thanks for watching Money 9, and do watch us, give your feedback, and we'll be back with some more interesting investment topics.